And dua is of many forms, and I'm only going to mention the general side of it and one other aspect of it, and I'll save that for the end. But the general aspect of dua is that it is a command. And the second part of the ayah, "Du'uni astajib lakum," is His promise. "Wastajib lakum" is His promise that all you do is call upon me and I will respond. If you just call upon me, you will find me responding to you. It is the weapon of the believer. It is the tool of the one who worships Him truly. It is the salvation of the heart. It is the softener of the heart. It is the thing that removes the black spots in the qalb. It is the thing when the heart has become hard after a period of time, nothing softens but tears and wetness. It is the thing that brings this about and causes the heart to go soft. Nothing will bring peace and happiness and tranquility to the heart of the one in the most of distress except dua. When he makes dua, he understands. When a person raises his hand, the barakah starts to flow into his chest, into his head, into coolness of his eyes. Only then can a person truly understand why I'm in this calamity. That is the first gift Allah gives him. Is that, do you understand why you are in this calamity? Without understanding why, we are just like lost mules. So what if the burden is removed? We just fall into the same pit again without understanding. The first gift He gives to the one in distress who calls upon Him is an understanding as to why you are like this. How? You figure it out. Things start to make sense and we don't like it. We're like, no, that can't be why. We don't like it because usually it's our own fault. We don't want to think about that. We want to blame somebody else. So we make more dua. The more dua we make, the more the mind is opened. The more we cry, the more the heart is expanded so we can accept our own faults. And then you find the peak of dua, the sweetness of dua is the one who turns to Allah and blames only himself. Who else was like this? I will start with the best of mankind, the most guided of mankind, the one who is most beloved to Allah, Mahbub Allah, Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was so beloved to Allah, but yet still, Allah allowed hardships to fall upon him. When he was asked about the akhirah, he didn't say, I will tell you tomorrow. He didn't say, inshallah. So tomorrow he was humiliated. He was in a state, well, not humiliated, but embarrassed. He didn't have an answer for the kuffar. When Jibreel came, said, you are only a messenger. You didn't say, inshallah. When he frowned from the old man who wanted guidance, Abasa wa Tawalla revealed. You frowned, turned away. For who? For those who don't want to know? Maybe he would have learned. Immediately hitting him hard, without holding back, and even then a threat from Allah to him. If he misguides, what would we do to him? I don't even want to utter the words. Even though he was the sweetest and kindest of men, he went through the most difficult tests of hardships. Someone asked me, when he was dying, he cried out to Aisha. When he died, he would ask for pitchers of water to be brought. As he was in a high fever, he would pour it so it would cool down. As he cooled down, he would say, have they prayed? Have they prayed? And he would fall over and faint from the heat and the exhaustion of the fever. Then again, when he would wake, he would say, bring cold water, break the fever. He'd get up, have they prayed? Have they prayed? Every ounce of energy and concern and worry for us, knowing what was waiting. But on the last moments, in the last moments where he laid in her lap and she held him and she made the siwak wet and she put it in his mouth and brushed his teeth, he looked up to her as she wept. He said to her, O Aisha, the pains of death, verily the pains of death are true. He suffered even in his last moments. And someone asked, why is that? Why did our most beloved of men, the one who we love more than we love ourselves, why did he have to suffer? The answer goes back to Taif. What he went through in Taif, what he wanted for mankind, what he wanted for people, for you and I. He walked the streets of Taif calling to nothing but La ilaha illallah. And what did they do to him? 10 days he walked in these alleyways as they pelted and pelted, and he would try a different alleyway. They pelted and they insulted, and he tried a different way. And his son Zayd bin Harith comes for 3 days following him. Leave him, Ya Rasulullah, leave him, Ya Rasulullah. And he would say, no, Allah has not guided them. They don't know better. Oh Allah, forgive them, they don't know better. If they knew, they wouldn't do this. And he walked and he suffered until finally he gave up and he came out to a mount on the lands of Ibn Rabi'ah. And here he sat under a tree. And he had to peel his sandal off his foot, for the blood had dripped down his body and dried in his sandals. Even here, suffering like this was the answer to the question, why should he have to suffer like this? The answer was when he cried to Allah, what have I done? Have I displeased you, O Allah? This is piety. This is an example. This is a lesson for you and I. When we fall to distress, first thing we should do is look inside. What have I done? And he asked Allah, what have I done? Have I upset you? Have I displeased you? Who have you given me to? To people who do this to your messenger? Even this was too much for him. This was too much for him. The torture he felt in Taif was too much for Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. This was the closest he got to complaining. And even that was, what did I do? Why the distress? First thing we should do is look inside. What have I done? And he asked Allah, what have I done? Have I upset you? Have I displeased you? Who have you given me to? To people who do this to your messenger? Even this was too much for him. This was too much for him. The torture he felt in Taif was too much for Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. This was the closest he got to complaining. And even that was, what did I do? Why have you given me to them? For even in Uhud, when Hamza was ripped open and Muhammad wept, when Handala fell and Muhammad wept, when Mus'ab ibn Umair couldn't even be covered by his clothes and Muhammad wept, when all of the Sahaba had fallen and he wept and he went to each one praying for each one and he wept for each one, even then Aisha said, have we seen a worse day than this, O Muhammad? Ya Rasulullah. He said, yes. For Taif was far worse than this. Why? Taif was far worse than this. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He was our example. And in Taif, when he sat, when he made that dua, the closest he ever got to complaining. Have I done something? Have I upset you, O Lord? To which Allah Azza wa Jalla responded. When he continued his dua, he said, oh Allah, I dare not lift my head from sujood. If you're upset with me, I will cry here till you forgive me. If I have upset you, I will not move until you have been pleased with me again. But if you are pleased with me, and you're still pleased, and this is okay, you wanted this to happen, listen, Isma. If this is what you wanted, then I have no complaints. Do more. If you wanted me to suffer like this, if this was your will, bring more. For it's from you I will love anything you give me. Allahumma musta'an. He said, he cried, he waited for a sign. From the land of Ibn Rabi'ah, the owners of the land, they saw Muhammad suffering. And they were Qurayshi, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Qurayshis hated Muhammad, most of them. And these people did also. But the people of Taif and the Qurayshis, they had a long old feud. So the Qurayshis became angry. How dare they do that to one of ours? But they couldn't come stand up for Muhammad. Because he's a prophet and this is a mushkila. So they had to let him get tortured. And the people of Taif knew this. So they took advantage to beat one of theirs, knowing they will not take revenge. He had no protection. Khadija was gone, radiallahu anha. The one who softened and comforted his heart. When things like this would happen, he would go to her shoulder and her chest and cry. She was no more. Abu Talib, who protected him in the city, 3 days later, he was no more. He was gone. Muhammad had hardly any protection. And he went through this. And here he said, oh Allah, if I have displeased you, forgive me. But if you're pleased with me, I have no complaints. So from these people, the Qurayshi, they felt some compassion. They took some grapes and some water, gave it to a slave boy, said, take this to him. The lesson here is in this boy. When he arrived to Muhammad, the men told him, don't speak to him. Don't speak to him. He will be with you.